this computer.
Yep.
Hello, everybody. My name is Katrina Bellasilo. I am the chairperson of the Parish Education Committee for St. Matthew's Parish. And today I'm here with our principal, Deborah Welsh, and our PEC treasurer, Nala Sharaf, to address some of the questions that we all have as part of this community. I'll start with the fact that just to kind of reinstate that our role as a PEC is to make sure that our school runs efficiently and in accordance with and implement the policies of the CISVA. And our goal right now is to make sure that we provide a safe environment, first of all, for every family in our school, and also for all the teachers and everyone who's part of our community. And secondly is the continuing of learning. And so one of the biggest concerns that we all have right now is, yes, we're going to have continuation of learning. There's a lot of questions about that. And there's also the big question of tuition fee. So now let's right here right now to talk about why we are really the biggest question of the day. Why are we still having to pay tuition fee, even though we're going to homeschool our kids in the next weeks or months even?
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest answer to that, and maybe Deborah can just chime in first to just give you an idea of what the teachers are going to be doing during this time. And then I can give you an overview of what does that look like behind the scenes for the numbers.
Sure, Nala. So part of the teacher's mandate, all teachers across all Catholic schools, we are mandated by not only the CISVA, but just out of love for children to make sure that your children receive the education that they're supposed to. So there is the BC Ministry of Education curriculum, and our teachers who are ready to roll out that curriculum, continue it after spring break, now with home learning being implemented, have spent some of their spring break, are currently working really hard to make sure that those particular curricular outcomes will be covered in the next weeks or months to come. And I know that you will be assisting your child with this. However, teachers are still going to be instructing your child. So each day you will receive a message from the classroom teacher going through what your child is expected, also giving that sense of familiarity. They get to still see their teacher's face, but teachers are also going to be, please rest assured that yes, your children are going to be learning. It'll look a little bit different, but you definitely will be spending time to assist your children, but your teacher, your child's classroom teacher, will still be instructing your child throughout these next few weeks. And so teachers are working very hard along with our education assistants to make sure that all the supports your children need are in place, to make sure that the curriculum is covered. Our Christian education still remains a huge central part of what your children learn each day. So I know there's a lot of questions from parents, and it sounds like you'll be homeschooling your kids, and that's totally true to some extent because you are going to be assisting your children a lot, but your teacher will be there to help you. They'll be there during normal school hours to answer your emails, to do video chats with you. So we're committed to making sure that your child gets the best education possible in this really unprecedented situation.
Definitely. Unprecedented we're all in this together. We're all learning something new as a community. We are affected by this in one form or another. And so that's why it's important that we do our best to work together and communicate in order to make sure that we still keep moving forward. We can't just put a pause in our lives, right? So, and along with that, there are still responsibilities in running the school. And so, yes, the CISVA mandated that tuition fee is still payable. And there's a lot of questions as to why is still tuition fees available? Well, the reality of it is that CISVA did mandate us to make sure that help is available for any families that are affected by this difficulty. So there's a system in place in order to make sure that we help the families who are in need. And also if this is affecting a family in one form or another, as far as finances, of course, there again, the form helps a lot. So, you know, there's that form that is available on our website, but there's still a lot of cost to run the school. And we've looked into what the finances look like with all these changes. Well, Nala did most of the work, really.
All right, maybe I can jump in there, Katrina, just to help answer the question. So definitely this is a burning question with a lot of people, and as parents, we're asking the same thing. Why am I still paying a tuition fee if school looks different right now? It doesn't look the same. But what we want to give you an idea is that your school is still being supported the same. So although the classroom is now going to be a virtual classroom, although it looks a little bit different, than it's not a bricks and mortar type classroom anymore, but all the infrastructure and the support behind it is still there. And so that's the biggest thing, is when we talk about the cost continue, is because we're still running the school. The school is still, it may look a little bit different than what we're all used to, but there's still teachers that are on staff that are on contract until the end of the year. We still have a school building to run, and although we've done our best to reduce the footprint of that school, we've consolidated it into one area, so we're not running heat and all the things, electricity, everything for the whole building. There is still a cost to maintain that. We can't just leave the building unattended. We also have maintenance that we want to maintain to make sure that the school is being kept in good condition. That's also an important thing for insurance purposes, that we're not just leaving the school vacant and something could happen to it. We do have still a duty to have this school intact when we come back in September. So there is a lot of things behind the scenes. All the infrastructure as well to help provide distant learning for your children. So things like the packages that are going to be provided, if we have electronics, if people need to use computers, all that is still infrastructure as a school that we have available. We just now have it in a distributed form. So there is a cost to keep kind of the virtual school running, if you will. And I'm just going to show you a picture, because picture says 1,000 words. So here, let's just show you when we talk about what are still the costs to maintain. So I wanted to show you, this is what our total monthly expenses still look like. And we've taken into account that there's going to be some decreases because of things, what I just mentioned, electricity, things like that. But you can see the biggest cost to us to run the school is really just the salaries and wages. And that's the green, the big green part you see here in the graph. And some of our other expenses are going to tail off because we're not having activities, we're not doing, you know, field trips and things like that anymore. But operations and maintenance, instructional materials, and then the salaries and wages, that's the biggest part of our expenses. So even though our school is going to be virtual, unfortunately, this doesn't just fall off the map and that our costs just disappear as well. There's still a cost to maintain. So then I want to ask you, I want to show you then, how does this translate? So this is our total monthly expenses. And as you know, our sources of revenue is really only two pieces. It's really our ministry grant, which is only a portion of what public schools get. And then the remainder is this blue section, which is the tuition fee. And you can see, again, we're not going to have fundraising anymore. All our activities are going to hold off for the rest of the year. So really, those are really the only two buckets that are here to fund that expense line that I showed you on the other graph. And you can see that it doesn't even match all of it in some of the months. So really, you can't continue a line like this for expenses, which are still required, without this blue section here to help subsidize some of it. So we are looking to you as parents to just to help you understand, I guess, what goes into this. And I think because it looks a little bit different, it may seem that we're still paying for something that we're not getting the same service, but we're still getting the same thing behind the scenes. It's just that it's just going to look a little bit differently in what we're seeing on the front line.
So Nala, what about the subsidy that the government is offering right now? How is that going to help us during this time?
Yeah, so like any other organization out there, we are going to look into if there's any options to help defer payments, if there's anything where there's grants that will help reduce the amount of wages we have to pay. There are a lot of things out there that are available, and we're going to look into see which ones apply to us as a school and as a nonprofit, and where we can look for some of that relief just to help ease the burden. But even with some of those programs, unfortunately, it's not going to take everything away. There's still going to be costs we have to deal with. But yes, it's part of our due diligence to look into if there's places where we can reduce some of that financial burden.
Okay, well, that gives us a picture. Like any responsible institution, we have to look at our finances in order to make sure we can make an informed decision. And I can see why CISBA mandated that we pay tuition fee even though we are doing home learning. And like, again, to remind everybody, help is available if you or your family are experiencing any financial difficulties. Now, going back to the teachers, they're still spending time in preparing the programs. They actually spent more time because of the fact that there's a lot of stress that comes with this, and they wanted to make sure this is all new to us. No one's ever been in this situation before, unless you were alive in World War II. And so, but most of us have been, this is new, and we're all shocked as to how this is happening. So we're all just trying to help each other to make sure that we just keep moving forward. But there are some questions about some of the things that, availability of supplies and technology. Because I have 3 kids, but not everybody, I don't actually have 3 devices for my kids, right? So do we need 3 devices? Are these things, I know you've already addressed this with us, but then can you share with everybody else, Deborah, what are the things that we can expect? I know you're going to send the information tomorrow, but it's really a question for a lot of families as to how this is going to look like.
Yeah, and fair enough. So as you mentioned, Katrina, it is true that tomorrow I will be sending a detailed email to all families, which will give a clearer picture of what home learning will look like for all families. But as you referenced, we understand that for some families, whether through choice or whether just through circumstance, you might not have a device for your child to use. So our school has been very fortunate in that we have Chromebooks and iPads, and depending on what your child's teacher needs for your children, if it's necessary to have a device will be loaned out to 1 per family. And in the intermediate grades, that will most likely look like a Chromebook. And in the primary grades, if necessary, an iPad. So we're committed to providing those devices to as many families as needed. But also know, we've talked about this as a school community before, we do not want your children from 9 to 3 being on a computer screen. That's not healthy for them. So teachers are designing a program where there'll be time for them to have physical activity. Mr. Durante will still be providing PE lessons to your children 3 times a week. Mrs. Fawcett will be providing music lessons. Your child's teacher will actively ask them to get up, take a break, to read. All these components of a regular in-class day will be replicated to the best that we can in your homes. And once again, I think it's really important for all parents to know that we know this is a new territory and it feels a bit overwhelming, and your children will be with you. What a wonderful gift, actually, to have your children with you most of the day. But it also means, of course, that you will be assisting them and reminding them this is a chance for you to see your children really rise in independence. You will be assisting them quite a bit probably at the beginning, but remember, the teachers will be helping you. They're there to instruct your children, teach mini lessons to make sure they're on the right track. And our hope is that your children will be able to gain even more independence, that you're able to leave them, say, you know what, Miss Ksenia said it's time, at 12 o'clock, it's time to say the Angelus. We'll say it together as a family. And then after that, we know we have to do our silent reading. So again, much guidance, much support, instruction will be coming from your child's classroom teacher. So we're hoping that if anytime you have any question, you don't hesitate. Just like during a normal in-class delivery, you can contact the teacher or myself in a variety of ways. Phone call to me, or I will still be in the school for the most part, or an email. So always feel free to reach out. We're still there for you.
Yes. So yes, absolutely. We're all in this together. We're all in it, and we're here for each other. And if parents or anyone from the school have any other questions, any concerns, please forward them to, sorry, Deborah, but the reality is Deborah is there to answer the questions and address any concerns. Really, that's the best thing to do, is to just email. Deborah's email is available. You know, she's there to answer the questions, and we are here to support our school and support the CISBA. And remember, 5 out of the 7 PEC members are also parents at the school. We have the same concerns as everybody in one form or another. We're all going to be spending time with our kids, and some have 3, some have 1, and so some have 2. So really, it is going to be a challenge, but it is part of it. We don't have a choice but to go with it. So we continue to pray for each and every one of you, and we pray for all of us to be able to get through this. And also we ask for kindness from everybody, understanding and patience, as this is something that's new for all of us. So again, if you have any question, please feel free to reach out. I hope that this information has been helpful to you. If there's any other questions that we have not addressed, please submit your questions to Deborah. Thanks again, and God bless. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.